Hi, I'm Auriel Grace, and today we're going to be talking about Ptah. So, Ptah is Enki's son. Enki is a Sumerian god of water, knowledge, crafts, and creation. He is also an Anunnaki. Hypothesis there. so, the Anunnaki came here from a different planet to check and see if Earth had gold, and they were here to mine the gold. All right, and I will stick the link somewhere around here so that you can watch that video. But Ptah is he is the Egyptian god of creation and craftsman, and he is a great sculptor. And so one of the stories is that he sculpted everything, and then he breathed light and life into his sculptures. So he breathed from his heart and his tongue. His heart for love, his tongue for speech. All right, and much of his story is like the Genesis story in the Bible. Okay, the other way that the other story is that he would think of what he wanted to manifest, and when it appeared before him, then he would again breathe life into whatever it was that he was creating. And so it's thought that he created Amun, who created Ra. So there's a lot of different stories going on here, right? So, and his creation story, or the story of creation, is written on a stone that is in the British Museum. It's called the Shabaka stone, and it was written around the 25th dynasty. But in that stone, there are references that the story is older than that, and in some of the tombs and temples, the story is also written, okay, like back to the first dynasty and maybe even before that. All right, so because the Egyptians believed that he created all things, they knew that he was a primordial god, he was a creator god, and he is often painted holding a scepter, okay, and it has on it a waz, and the waz is power, and then it also has the ankh, which is life, and it also has the djed, which means stability. So this is a very powerful scepter that he is holding when he is painted. He's also painted like as a mummy. So when he's holding a scepter, it's in front of him, and he has the mummy wrappings around him, and he also has like a skull cap on him as well. And so that's how he's painted. He is an honored craftsman. So what the craftsmen that built the temples and like built the pyramids and built the tombs, all those craftsmen were Ptah priests or taught by Ptah priests, right? So they worshipped Ptah and asked for his guidance and his assistance while they were working on all these special places for the pharaohs and the people. Okay, including palaces and including their, everything, anything that had to do with an artisan. That's Ptah. So Ptah was also, his priests were also connected to the viziers in Egypt. They assisted with any architectural work, any other crafts work that needed to be done for the pharaoh. So a lot of the high priests were married to the princesses of Egypt, because princesses were not allowed to marry outside of Egypt. They had to stay inside Egypt. And so bringing together a princess and a Ptah priest also brought in to the pharaonic line that energy of Ptah, you know, because he's a god, right? And the pharaohs are gods. So we have to bring in more of that kind of god energy to keep that energy flowing, right? Okay, that's how I feel about it, is that they were Egyptian pharaohs did that a lot, is that, you know, because they believed that the priests had a bit of the God within them. The pharaohs were the God incarnate, ruling over Egypt, Upper and Lower Egypt. And so, you know, you got to keep the line flowing, right? Yeah. All right. So, in Memphis, one of the temples, or the temple for Ptah, in the inner temple part, you could go in and say your prayers to Ptah. Now, Ptah was the intercessor as well between gods and humans. And so on his temple walls, there were painted and carved ears. And the ears were so that the people could go to an ear and say their prayer into the ear. And from the ear, that was Ptah listening to them, being their intercessor from the people to him to the God, so that their prayers could be answered. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, they actually painted and carved ears into the temple so that people could come pray. That's great. So that was one of the ways that they did that they figured, you know, Ptah could help them, being the creator god and all. Right? Okay. So a lot of the coronations were done the ones that were done in Memphis. A Ptah priest was the one that actually did the coronation. He performed it. He did all the magic and everything for the pharaoh during a coronation of Pharaoh and his consort. So, and again, the priests were often married into the pharaoh's family. The princesses could not leave Egypt. They couldn't. So, and I thought it was very interesting. This is one tidbit that I was like, oh, this is cool. Is that Ptah was also associated with dwarves. And the reason why is because dwarves were associated with the stone carvers and the gem setters in the Old Kingdom. So, and that's really cool. There is a god, his name is Bes, and I might do a video on Bes, and he was a dwarf god. Yeah, so it's really cool. All right, so Ptah and his consort Sekhmet created Neferdim. And so we'll talk about them in another video. This is Ptah's video. So one other thing is that it is thought that Ptah created the god Atum, who created Ra. So my hypothesis on this is Ptah knew Ra's father, Atum. And so that was Ra's father's name, Atum. So that's something to think about as well. Just something that I thought about, because if we're going on the idea of these beings, these gods and goddesses being star beings, okay, you know, of course they're going to be created, or there's going to be some procreation going on. And so a lot of these different names, or where people came from, or we have all these kind of different stories about the gods and goddesses. Everybody's got like their own opinion in that. But I feel like the reason why we have that is because they are not actually from Earth. And so there's a lot of different ideas about parentage or about creation. And that's why we have so many different creation stories. And I'm just using Egypt right now as an example. But if you look at, we will be traveling around Egypt in these videos to different sites where the gods, that's their special place. Just like Ptah's special place is Memphis. You know, so we'll be seeing that other gods have special places as well. And if you think about it, many of the indigenous religions or beliefs, that's how their gods are. Their gods ruled a special area, that's their special place, and that they took care of those people. So as Theo and I go on with our Ancient Civilization series, and we talk more about the different civilizations and the star beings as well, you'll see that the stories are similar. They're the same gods and goddesses. They have the same kind of names, or not names, but titles. And the creation stories might be a little bit different, and they may believe that, you know, the end of the world is coming and that. But one of the cool things about Egyptians is that they believed that their gods could die. They did. They believed that their gods could die, and that they would be reborn again. And so they weren't afraid of that. They were more about like, let's live, and let's get ready for when we leave this life and go into our next life, or go into Araru, which was their like heaven. And so that's what their focus was about. It wasn't really about end of days. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, all right. So this week, for our ancient history show, we're going to be talking about Thoth and the Emerald Tablets. So that will be very fun. I'll be doing some more videos this week on the other Egyptian gods and goddesses. And so if you want to, you can check us out Sunday nights, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific time, live on YouTube and Facebook. So it'll be very fun for you. And you can like and subscribe to the channel now. All right. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Keep your heart open and align with the energy of love. And I'll see you next week. Bye.